Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So this video, I am going to be talking about my top films of 2021. It is currently mid-January, and honestly, I wasn't sure if I was going to film this video. 4 of my housemates tested positive for COVID, so I spent a lot of January quarantining and self-isolating, and that made me really sad and unmotivated, so I didn't really know whether or not I was gonna make this video. But here we are. I decided to finally do it. I watched a lot of good movies this year. Like, they may not be my favorite movies or like my highest rated movies, but they're definitely movies that I enjoyed and would recommend to people. There are only 4 movies in my top 10 that have definitive spots on that list, so it was kind of hard for me to choose the other 6 movies because I was kind of like, I didn't have any strong opinions on these movies, and I was like, I don't know which ones to choose, which ones not to choose. It was really difficult for me. 2021 was surprisingly a very good year of movies for me, considering all the lows in my life in 2021. As usual, I will be listing some content warnings for movies, but I will not be listing all of them. But if you would like to view a list of all the content warnings, check the site doesthedogdie.com. And this year I also discovered a website called where'sthejump.com, which has specific timestamps for all of the jump scares in a movie. So although I am only going to be talking in depth about my top 10 movies, I will briefly talk about some other movies that could have made it to my top 10. The first 2 films are slower paced dramas, and the first of that couple is the original Godzilla from 1954. He is legendary, he is iconic, he is my sweet little baby. Godzilla is a metaphor for the atomic bomb, and this movie is a classic that exceeded my expectations and kept my interest despite the fact that I watched this movie at like midnight, and that's usually past my bedtime. Next is The Guilty, a 2018 Danish film. Do not watch the remake. It is about a cop trying to help a kidnapped woman through a series of phone calls, and it's filmed in one location. My best pitch for this movie is that it is an anti-cop propaganda movie. Next category are 4 atmospheric movies. Gonjiam Haunted Asylum is very fun and eerie, and I love the atmosphere of the abandoned building. All found footage horror films have really shitty beginnings. Usually the first 30 minutes is spent building up like the lore, the plot, but Gonjiam executed theirs really well. And the way they did their found footage is like a web series, which is pretty cool. As Above, So Below was a movie from 2014, and Rotten Tomatoes, you are fucking wrong about this movie because it is so good. Y'all never listen to Rotten Tomatoes. Like, the system, how they do their ratings based on reviews, is just so... it's bullshit. It doesn't mean anything. It's a cave horror, there's religious imagery and references, and it used the real catacombs of Paris as their filming location. The beginning is so fucking bad. Like I said, all found footage horror movies, shitty beginning, but I promise you it's gonna get better. This is like my 4th favorite found footage horror movie. Cloverfield, which I don't know why I didn't watch this earlier, honestly. It's a metaphor for the tragedy and trauma without the politics, so that it's cathartic for the people who experienced 9/11 in the same way that Godzilla was cathartic for people who endured atomic bombing. It's a kaiju movie and a found footage classic. Genuinely one of the best found footage films ever made. Trick or Treat is a movie that deserves to be so much more popular. It's an anthology movie and a satire of a bunch of Halloween tropes, and it can get kind of silly, but like, I don't care, it works really well. Sam is my baby. Like, I love this child, and one day I will either have a doll of him or I will cosplay as him. His entire look, his character design is beautiful. I love it. Bruh, this movie has one of the worst, actually the worst vomiting I have ever seen in a movie. Like, ever. It's fucking disgusting. And it goes on for so long. It's in the beginning, by the way, just a warning. If you just want to like skip it, you'll know when the kid's about to vomit. It's disgusting. Next category, I couldn't think of anything to call it, so I kind of just like, Blade? Are you fucking kidding me? This movie is so good. I can't believe more people don't talk about it. One of the best movie intros ever. Like, I was sold. The moment it started playing, I was like, holy shit. holy shit, this movie is for me. The vampires, bro, the blood, the violence, the vampires, the trench coats, the leather trench coats of this era. I don't know what the fuck this genre, this aesthetic is called, but I love it. I want it. I want y'all to bring it back. Did y'all know that this is the movie that saved Marvel from bankruptcy? Like, people typically credit that to the first Spider-Man movie, but actually it is because of the success of Blade. The revival and push for superhero movies was because of Blade. We all have Blade to thank for all the superhero comic book movies that we have in the past 2 decades. Show some goddamn respect for Blade. Fucking amazing movie. I really thought this movie was gonna be my top 10, but alas, I moved it out. The Fly is an 80s film. I don't know. I keep coming back to it. I didn't think it would resonate that much with me, but I just kept coming back. It's a horror classic about a scientist who gets fused with a fly. It sounds really simple, but it's really fucking good because of how they approach the plot. It has a disgusting ass body horror. It's really angsty and painful and sad, which, you know, I like. It's a movie about loss and like the people around you and just like that journey and process of loss and grief. Next 2 movies are funny movies. The first of the 2 is Malignant. It is a campy horror movie about a woman's imaginary childhood friend coming to life. Honestly, that is a really shitty synopsis, but it's also the synopsis I had when I went into this movie, and like, I guess it's a funny fucking movie. Like, I watched this with my friend Rhea, and there was like 3 other people in the theater, and y'all, we were just fucking laughing at this movie. It's hilarious. James Wan, you are a funny man, and I'm sorry that I did not give you the recognition and love until now. I don't know why it took me to 2021 to understand this. Mitchells versus the Machines. This movie is fucking funny. Like, it's cringe, like YouTube humor, Gen Z cringe, iPad kid cringe, but like, okay, Gen Z and iPad kid are not in the same generation, but anyways, it's like cringe, but it's funny. It's so weird, it's so great, I can't believe it works. It's about a family reconnecting and coming together, and it's a really sweet family movie that warmed my heart, and it has robots, and I love the robots' design. I forgot if I cried while watching this. I might have, but I don't remember. My last category is like the best fucking category, and the reason why I'm even fucking categorizing all these movies. This category is Christians. Dude, bro, I don't know what's up with 2021, but I can't believe I watched media about Christians and actually enjoyed it. Like, I enjoyed every single one of them. First is Saint Maud. This is the Christian movie, the Christian horror movie I have been asking for and have finally received. It's about a devout Christian nurse, a stay-home nurse, who does some really weird fucked up Christian shit and pushes an agenda onto her patient. Don't watch the trailer for this movie. I want y'all to go in knowing nothing. Just know that it's a horror movie about Christians. First Reformed. Y'all, I made so much fun of this movie when it got nominated for an Oscar for the best screenplay in 2017, and I watched this movie and I ate my fucking words because I rated it a 5 out of 5 stars. First Reform goes fucking hard. It's a priest who confronts and questions how the church as an institution profits and defends capitalism and omits any responsibility for the consequences it has on the environment. It's such a good fucking movie. Like, I don't know, I didn't expect that. Benedetta is another film, and it's about queer nuns who use the church and herd mentality to manipulate people into doing their bidding. It's a little more complicated than that. It's not as simple as what I just said. The main character does genuinely believe that she is destined to marry Jesus, and she has visions of him. There's a lot of shit that happens in this movie that is so absurd and baffling. Me and the other guy watching this movie we had a laugh because what the fuck was this movie? This movie's gay, like explicitly gay. So fucking gay. Midnight Mass is a TV show, but I'm slipping it in here simply because it's another Christian media thing that I watched last year. Out of the four, this one is like the most scary kind of devout Christian. Christians using their power to control people and using religion to justify their actions is so terrifying. And the rhetoric that is used by these people, these characters, is paralleled to what people say in the real world now. So it's just like, it's like genuinely terrifying. This was made by Mike Flanagan, by the way. He is the man who created The Haunting of Hill House and The Haunting of Bly Manor. Okay, time for my top 10 movies. Number 10 is Venom: Let There Be Carnage. Y'all know I was gonna put this movie somewhere. In this movie, Eddie and Venom are still struggling to get along with each other. They fight like a couple because that is what they are. And then a serial killer becomes a host of an alien symbiote, and Eddie and Venom have to come together and stop him. This is 100% a popcorn movie. It's super flawed and it's fun as fuck. Let There Be Carnage surpasses the first movie, mostly because it already has an established dynamic between the two characters and doesn't need to waste time introducing them to the audience. As much as I love Venom, the only real highlights of that movie are the scenes with Eddie and Venom together. Let There Be Carnage fully embraces how unhinged they are and the romantic implications of their relationship. This movie is fucking hilarious, and the inclusion of Anne and Dan provides great opportunities for situational comedy. The antagonists are good enough and serve their purpose for the story, but what really draws people to this movie is the emotional journey that Eddie and Venom have. I love that this movie is as gay as the studio will let them. Not only is Tom Hardy a big fan and sees Eddie and Venom's relationship as romantic, but the director for this movie, Andy Serkis, also felt that way as well. Andy Serkis even said that he intentionally filmed that one scene to imitate coming out of the closet. Having that approach from the cast and crew is why Let There Be Carnage successfully portrays their dynamic and makes it a fun movie. Venom: Let There Be Carnage feels like it is straight out of a fanfic. I just think that the cast and crew of this movie and the fans are like on the same fucking wavelength. I have never felt this way with a movie before. This movie is for me, it's for us, it's for the Venom stans. Eyes Without a Face, a film from 1960. A surgeon causes an accident which leaves his daughter disfigured and goes to extreme lengths to give his daughter a new face. I 100% spaced out while watching this movie. There are a lot of parts in this movie that I do not think are well paced, and unfortunately it decreased my interest while watching. Despite its slow moments, it's a very beautiful black and white movie that has an excellent use of shadows, especially because of the contrast with the main character's mask. I swear to God, that fucking mask is gorgeous. I love it. It's so iconic, and I want it to be like a classic horror icon. And I love the ominous atmosphere. The music is alluring and haunting. The melody of the theme feels like if you were in a fairy tale and you were being lured into the enchanted forest. If that vibe could be in a song, it is this song. The person they casted for the main character is so perfect. Their face naturally and like their mannerisms throughout the movie is so frightening and unnerving, and yet you can't help but be captivated and lured into her beauty. If you watch this movie, I recommend that you watch it alone and try not to be distracted while watching it. Honestly, I wish I had just paused the movie when I start to zone out instead of like going on my phone, because I really feel like it took away the experience and the impact this movie could have had on me. Number 8, Diabolique. The cruel and abusive headmaster of a boarding school is murdered by an unlikely duo, his wife and his mistress. The women become increasingly unhinged after a series of odd occurrences after his corpse mysteriously disappears. Unlike the previous movie, Diabolique is much more well-rounded. Diabolique is one of the old black and white films that have raised the bar for me. Other top-tier old black and white movies that have set a standard for me is, of course, Sunset Boulevard and Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Just sneaking those movie recommendations in there. I think sometimes when we watch old black and white movies, there is this assumed omission of quality, in the sense that we tend to think, oh, well, it's old, so it makes sense that there's flaws, it's not supposed to be as good as movies today. But that's not true, because these movies, and Diabolique has proved to me that movies, no matter how old, can be brilliant. This movie reaches the standards of today's psychological thrillers with its visuals and its story and its pacing. But what really sells this movie for me is the tension and how unsettling it can be. There's a sequence of scenes in the climax of the film that were so anxiety-inducing for me that I had to resist the urge to skip ahead because I was so stressed out and nervous. This movie is definitely super slow-paced. You're going to need a lot of patience for it, and you will have to fight the impulse to go on your phone during the slow moments, because that will definitely affect how immersed you are in the story. Number 7? I think, number 7, Bo Burnham speaks about the current political and emotional state of the world in this super funny musical comedy special. It is super depressing, and it's about the emptiness and loneliness and suffocation that we feel during the COVID lockdown and about our life. But it's also like told in a lighthearted manner with these really funny songs that he writes. I'm not particularly a fan of Bo Burnham's comedy shows. He has like a shit ton of recordings of them. I'm more of a fan of him as a director. 8th Grade is one of my top favorite movies ever. And Inside is like this wonderful combination of a comedy show and his directorial vision. His visionary style reminds me of like Tumblr. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's reminiscent of 2014 Tumblr aesthetic, like the way he edits, the humor, the way he frames the camera. It feels like Tumblr in 2014, but it also has like a mix of the trendy TikTok, YouTube, social media aesthetic of 2021. The music is good, like very good, to the point where the music is something you would listen to for fun after watching the movie. Yeah, it's a really easy movie to get into. Not a lot of like mental preparation is required. You can check your phone and pause it and continue it later because it is very easy to return to. Number 6 at 5? I don't know. Shin Godzilla, which is the best fucking Godzilla movie ever. First thing you need to know about Godzilla is that he is a metaphor for atomic bombing. The first Godzilla movie served as a form of catharsis for the Japanese people who suffered atomic bombing in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The design and concept of Godzilla is directly influenced by that, from his skin texture imitating radiation scars, to the silhouette of his body resembling the mushroom cloud of a bomb. As I said earlier, Shin Godzilla is the best Godzilla movie. It is very unique and is the easiest gateway to the franchise for newcomers. So what makes Shin Godzilla unique is that the first Godzilla movie focused on the civilian reaction to Godzilla to recreate that fear, panic, and trauma of people who suffered from atomic bombs. Shin Godzilla focuses on the government reaction to Godzilla. It is a movie that spends a very minimal amount of time with Godzilla himself, yet you feel his presence in every scene. In times of crisis, people in power tend to live in denial, and their refusal to take responsibility of the situation wastes time and endangers people's lives. For the people who want to do something, who want to help, there is all these politics and excessive bureaucratic barriers and processes that delay them from finding a solution to the problem. Shin Godzilla focuses on the way that people navigate politics during a crisis, and the burden of responsibility for the well-being of your people and your country and the indecision and fear that comes with it because your country already has a history of atomic bombing. Screenplay aside, it is very pretty with its colors and symmetry, and the design for Godzilla is very interesting because he is constantly evolving throughout the movie. Also, fun fact, Shin Godzilla was directed by Hideaki Anno, who was the creator for Neon Genesis Evangelion. From what I remember, it's also very dialogue heavy, so make sure you are mentally prepared for that kind of movie. 300 is based on Frank Miller's graphic novel about the King of Sparta leading 300 warriors into battle. Zack Snyder, my favorite beloved director, his visionary talent is clearly exhibited in this movie. I have never read or even seen panels of this graphic novel, and yet when you watch this movie, it feels like the comic panels have come to life. The color grading of this movie is heavily exaggerated, especially with all the shadows, but it fits so well with the tone of the movie because the way the warriors are dressed and the action are equally exaggerated. Zack Snyder has a very particular artistic style, and it benefits 300 so much. It is so visually stunning, and if they had hired a different director, it wouldn't even be close to this. I am not fond of sword and sandal stories. I don't like them at all. So I was amazed by the fact that I was so absorbed by this movie. Okay, so now I am down to the last 4 movies, and again, these 4 have like definitive spots because they are like my new favorite movies. So in Saw, the serial killer is obsessed with teaching his victims the value of life, and so he puts them in these situations where they literally have to fight to survive. It's surprisingly very good and very funny and creative, and also depending on who you ask, it's very gay. Gay people in the horror community, they fucking love this movie. They have claimed it as their own. They have a really firm grip on it, and like so many people in the horror community, this is like their favorite movie. Young Lionel, who plays one of the main characters in this movie, has like, oh my god, he brought out so much gender envy out of me. Like every time he was on screen, I was like, man. Saw is known as the cultural phenomenon that inspired the torture porn genre in horror, and yet the film itself is not torture porn. Yes, it is graphic with its horror and its torture, but it is done with intent and care, and it contributes to the story. James Wan is a fucking genius, and it's kind of weird that I've only just realized this in 2021, considering how many of his movies I've seen. This is a great movie to watch with people. Whether you're talking and screaming with other people or watching it silently by yourself, it's really, really great. And you can also watch this movie like with the light on. I don't think it will diminish the horror and the impact it will have on you, because I'm pretty sure I watched it with the light on. Oh my god, okay, Spencer. This movie had such a grip on me. Ugh, the way I cried and just felt the sadness in my heart, in my soul. Spencer takes place during the Christmas holidays with the royal family when Diana Spencer decides to leave her marriage. Forget for a moment that this movie is about Diana Spencer. Remove the idea that this is a strict historical biopic that you can watch and learn about the life of Diana Spencer, because that is not what it is. This is a movie about a woman breaking under the pressure of expectations, loneliness, and depression. And being a princess heightens that psychological trauma because of your duty to your country. She is physically and mentally isolated. She has to suppress who she is and her emotions, and she has no method or support that will allow her to have spiritual and emotional catharsis. The colors and filter of this film are so dreamy, like it's so warm and delicate, which totally contrasts the nightmarish vibe of what's happening in this movie. And these heavy tones are supported by their decision to make this movie a campy haunted house psychological horror. Regardless of whether or not Kristen Stewart accurately portrays Diana, her acting for this character is phenomenal. What she brings to this character reached into my heart and gripped it so tightly throughout the entirety of this movie. You can really feel the agony and pain of this character in the movie. Kristen Stewart is like my #1 pick for Best Actress, and I'm very, very happy that she's being acknowledged for her skill and talent in this movie, and I hope she gets that Oscar. I think that this movie needs to be watched when you're in a particular mood for slow-paced emotional dramas. My recommendation is to watch it when you're alone and with your phone off, and preferably in the dark. I find that watching movies in the dark allows me to embrace those heavy emotions and be sad and cry. So my #2 movie is very surprising, and I was in denial for some time, but I was like, I have to face the facts, and I'm so sorry to say this, but Zack Snyder's Justice League is my #2 movie of 2021. I really thought it was gonna be #1, but it's just not. As much as I love and adore this movie and just like the brilliance of it, it is my #2 movie. So after the death of Superman, Bruce Wayne has like regained hope in people and the thought that things can get better, and he recruits a team of metahumans to protect the world from an incoming threat. This is a superhero movie with a huge plot and a scary supervillain, but at its core it is about grief and loss and the journey to redemption and regaining the hope that things will get better. It explores a lot of complicated familial relationships and struggles with identity. I have talked again and again about this movie. So much of my heart belongs to DC and these films. It is the best movie, the best comic book movie of 2021. It is the best comic book ensemble movie ever created. Visually, this movie is stunning. Zack Snyder's artistic direction and ability to execute these grand visuals are unmatched. The color grading and the stunt choreography is so amazing. I love how individual and unique each character and each race fights. Like, oh my god, like culture. When you world build culture in movies, I fucking love that shit. This movie is unlike any superhero movie ever released. The scale and the stakes of the threat, the emotional hero's journey is so well paced, and the depth that it has for each character, and they are grounded in a way that is so raw and realistic to human struggles. This is a long movie, it's 4 hours, but it is broken up into parts so that you will be able to take breaks if you want to. #1 movie of 2021. I cannot believe it beat Zack Snyder's Justice League. West Side fucking Story. Steven Spielberg, you beautiful, amazing, brilliant motherfucker. I love you. West Side Story has proved to the world that movie musicals can be great. They don't have to be shitty. They don't have to be mid. They can be cinematic. There's 3 reasons why this movie musical is successful. And it is because it embraces the fact that it is a musical. The choreographer and director very obviously worked very close together, and they actually casted people who have experience with singing and dancing, not just acting. I will be talking about this movie a lot, and that's because I have a recency bias. It's been 4 weeks since I first watched this movie, and my hype for it still hasn't died down. West Side Story is a Romeo and Juliet retelling in the 1950s about a young white man and Puerto Rican woman falling in love. Like the 60s film, the 2021 film has been adapted from the original Broadway musical, but with heavy revisions. And honestly, y'all are letting nostalgia cloud your judgment, but I am not afraid to say that this movie is better than the 60s film. Yes, I know its cultural significance and the power of Rita Moreno, who was the only Puerto Rican actor in that movie. I know this, but also there's an actual Latina cast and Puerto Rican culture in this movie. The choreography, the sets, the clothes, the accent, even the way they utilize Spanish in the script makes this movie better and authentic. There's a lot of Spanish dialogue in Steven Spielberg's West Side Story, and none of it is subtitled. Spielberg refused to subtitle it because he didn't want to give English power over Spanish, and this is so important, and it shows how much thought and care he put into this movie in terms of like representing Puerto Ricans. By putting subtitles, he felt like it would be disrespectful and removing power from Spanish speakers because then they are not the target audience. And it forces us non-Spanish speakers to really focus and pay attention, and for us to be the ones who feel othered because we do not understand the language. Other things that make this adaptation so good is that the motivations are more clear with the addition of gentrification to the story. There's more realism to the experiences of poverty and racism. The order of songs and events were altered in a way that actually makes sense and makes the story better. Like songs I didn't even care about before and didn't really fit with the tone of the film in the 60s actually fit well with the 2021 film. And the characters aren't one-dimensional. Maria in particular was very one-dimensional in the 60s film. She was that stereotypical young, naive, ditzy woman who didn't really seem like a real person with independence and thought. Screenplay aside, a lot of the technical stuff is so much better too. The color grading, the camera movement, and the costumes, and everyone in this film is a triple threat. They can act, dance, and sing. Majority of the actors were from Broadway with like a small role, or they were part of the ensemble cast or an understudy, or it's their big break, and their performance was so amazing, and I'm so happy that they're getting recognition and awards and nominations, and I really hope that they all have a great career after this. There's so much more I want to say about this movie. Like, I can spend hours. I can go from like the beginning of this movie to the end, scene by scene, musical number by musical number. There's so much to say about this movie, and just like how their changes really enhance the story for the better. This is truly like cinema. Like, Steven Spielberg has made such a wonderful movie. I am so happy that like I ended up loving this movie so much more than I expected. I'm so happy that I saw it in theaters, and just like that wonderful feeling of falling in love with a movie. It's nothing tops that feeling. When you watch this movie, make sure you're not distracted, you have the volume up, and you're just like sitting back and enjoying it and embracing everything at once. So yeah, those were the best movies I watched in 2021. I am so happy that I have 4 new favorite movies. I love the feeling of like watching a movie and like knowing deep in my heart this is a movie that's gonna stay with me. It's gonna be one of my favorites, and I'm gonna love it so much and hold it close to my heart. So yeah, I hope that you get some movie recommendations out of this video and you enjoyed what I have to say about it. If you do decide to watch some of these movies, please let me know. I want to know if you liked it as well. If there are any 2021 releases that I missed, please let me know in the comments. I would love to add that to my watch list. As a friendly reminder, make sure you drink some water and stretch your body, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye y'all!